Okay, we are officially recording Pike the Bloodharbor Ripper. So I like Pike. Honestly, I've already read through all of his things, all of this stuff. I see one problem, but honestly, in general, I think Pike's gonna be a pretty cool champion. I think both in the design of how he is, the lore behind him being, from Bilgewater, being a support, but also the fact that he was betrayed, so he's just after revenge and so on and so forth. In general, I think he will be a good champion that I am definitely going to save up for and buy right away. Because I'm somehow becoming a support main. Okay, abandoned by his crew to the Leviathans of the deep, Pike drowned but didn't stay dead. Years later, a fabled revenant known as the Bloodharbor Ripper still stalks the slaughter docks, crossing names off a list that never seems to end. Wait, you look familiar. Okay, so first we're going to start with his passive. Passive, Gift of the Drowned Ones. Okay, then. When Pike is unseen by enemies, he rapidly regenerates some of the health recently lost to enemy champions. I think that would honestly be pretty cool. I like it just because, in bot lane there is a lot of bushes, so if he does take some poke, he can just walk right back into the bushes and then just bam. Plus it's easy to tell if there's a ward in the bush because it's unseen, so if there is, he won't heal. Okay, Bone Skewer. Tap the button to Pike stabs a greatly slows all enemies in front of him. Let's just do that bit. No, that's the first bit. If you hold the button, Pike readies and then throws his harpoon, impaling the first enemy struck and pulling them a fixed distance towards him. See, that's what I want Blitzcrank Q to be. You have to hold it in to charge it. And then he pulls you to him. And that's the stab right there if you just tap the button. I honestly, I think that's good as well. I think it's good both in the support standpoint because you can hold it in and yank a person, or if you're already next to someone, which Pike is a pretty go in type of person, so you should already be next to someone, then you can just jab forward and slow them, plus you can slow multiple people. Oh wait, whoa. Ghost Water Dive. Pike dives into spectral water, entering camouflage and gaining a significant increase to his movement speed that decays over a few seconds. Camouflage hides Pike from view while enemies remain outside his immediate area. Attacking or casting spells immediately ends camouflage. Okay, so there's one thing I want to know with his W. Since he's technically invisible, I wonder if if he uses this and then gets the distance away from people, kind of how right here where she can't see him, and it's still just the half eye thing when he's invisible but you can't see him. If that will, one, activate his passive, such as he could regenerate all his HP just by hitting his W and then standing in off in lane. It says activating an ability, so you could actually start your Q, even if you start your Q charging it up to throw it at someone, they'll still be able to see, which that I do like the way it is. And I just think in general I like stealth abilities, so this could be pretty good. His E, Phantom Undertow. Pike dashes, leaving behind a drowned phantom. After a delay, the phantom returns to Pike, damaging and stunning enemies it passes through. Okay, yet again, I have another, question for this one. Such as, if I use my E and I get the little dash, and then I use my W turning invisible, would that keep me invisible and give me the movement speed, or would it count as if I have an ability active causing me to not have the invisibility but keep the movement speed. Such as his W says camouflage hides Pike from attacking or casting spells immediately ends the camouflage. But that doesn't end the movement speed, is from like this saying alone. And it says that the movement speed decays. So I think a good combo might be something along the lines of using your E, then activating your W so that you still have the movement speed, but you might not turn invisible. You then get past these people because of your increase in movement speed, allowing you to stun them, and then you can even use your Q to slow them, or hold in your Q so that when they flash away or just try to escape, you yank them back to you. I think that could be like a good overall thing, and I like the idea behind it too. Now usually I'm against like dashes, majorly like point and click dashes or dashes that do damage, such as like Aurelia's Q, a dash that's a point and click and that does damage. But I am fine with this one mainly because yes, it does dash, and like it does damage and all, but you need to hit them with this like the phantom that comes from behind. So yes, it's going to be reasonably difficult to like dodge, but at the same time, it's not just that he dashes into you and you get stunned or anything like that. And it's not like stinking like what's his face is echoes that allows you to dash then blink to an enemy, or a Kali's that allows you to dash and turn invisible. I like this dash basically. Now this is the one problem that I have with him. Death from below. Pike strikes an X-shaped area, blinking to champions and executing those below a certain flat amount of health. That's what I find the problem in. Enemies in the X that are not executed take damage equal to this amount. When a champion dies in the X, the last ally to assist also gains full kill gold and kill credit. Pike can instantly use death from below again for a short period of time. Okay, before I go on a rant about this one. Okay. Okay, so one, I didn't like Urgot's execution. I don't like his either. I'm fine with an ability doing execute damage like Vigor or Garn alt because, you know, it does more damage the more missing HP you have, but I am not fine with it flat killing you if you are below a threshold. I think that Urgot's ult is really stupid in that, and I think that this one's even worse. Like, Urgot's is like 10% of your HP or 15%, something like that. This seems to be like close to 20 to 30% of your HP. And there's no even like bad point of using it. Honestly, I wouldn't do the second part of this where it says champions that gain an the last assist would gain full kill credit. All that's basically saying is that yes, you have an ADC and you're not trying to kill steals, so you're not trying to kill steal. I said that wrong. And so you can use this to execute people, but you're still not gaining the kill. And honestly, I would make Pike get the kill. The reason I'm saying this is because, like, if it's killing these people, then he should be the one that gains it just so that they don't become an insane powerhouse. Like, I can just see him paired up with, like, a Tristana or with just about anyone, and they just got done with, like, a fight, and he places the X, and then he manages to execute that person. Like, Tristana shouldn't get the kill for it. And I understand that, you know, like, death is the best CC, because that's even something that they said about Pike, where, like, Pike makes an argument about death being the best CC. I think that's a little bit later on in this page. But I just, and yet he already has 2 forms of CC. But I don't think his ult is going to be balanced at all. I love the rest of his kit. I'm fine with the fact that his ult allows him to, like, dash to that target location, What I think would maybe be a bit better is if just like a drowned spectral, kind of like his E, spawns in that location, and then he can swap places with him from like reactivating his alt or something like that. But then they wouldn't really be able to allow him to like constantly keep reactivating it. But I think it does too much damage. Like it will always do that threshold of damage. It even like shows it at the last little bit here. Like, that is a Garen. That is a tanky Garen that he just did a third of his HP to with one ability. So maybe something I don't think this is going to be a good, I think this is going to be a broken ability. I think that's what's going to end up happening is that he's either going to build like he's definitely going to build like more like mixed assassin. He's probably going to start out with like a coin in like the bot lane, and then from there get like a dust blade and just build assassin, or maybe just build full tank and just become a never-ending CC murderer, because like his ult allows for it. And that's one thing that I'm really gonna hate to see, is if he builds full tank and he uses his ult to one-shot a team. And it's super annoying to me to just like see the execute in general. I don't think it should execute, as I said. I think it should do execute damage. And I think that it should even like lose percentage of its execute damage to even just percentage of its damage in general if they're on like the outside track, kind of like Leona ult, where in the middle it stuns, but on the outside it only slows. I think like right here, like I think in the middle it should do its pure damage, and on the outside track it should do less damage. I think that that's just too much damage to be done throughout the entire X. Now, yes, I understand, like, yeah, you need to land it, but it seems like it's only like a second delay. One. It's literally a second. Like, the second he activates it, the X starts to form, and then he teleports. It's literally like a second to 0.75 of a second of a delay. That's incredibly difficult to dodge if you have no mobility abilities. And even if you have a mobility ability, you could end up dodging in the X, still getting you hit by it. So that's why I think, you know, like the X part of it should do less damage, and just the center should be like the main source. And it should not flat execute you. I don't think any ability should ever flat execute you. Same with Urgots. Just the fact that you can just, this is a kill that you are going to get, is kind of stupid to me. Okay. Playing as PYKE. Turning invisible. Using his E. He used his Q to slow there. Use the Q again, and use the X to execute. Now, something that it didn't show right there at the very end of this, he got his ult to execute right here, right? I think if he got his ult to execute right there, couldn't he necessarily just click over here with his ult and just dash to a new area? There's no point in not. So, I think that that is going to be like another thing that's going to be really annoying, is him just using his ult as if it's just like a regular mobility ability. If he has like 45% CDR and his ult's only like a minute long or something, and he gets an execute with it, I could see him being an assassin, just EQing someone, chunking them for their HP because of like having Dustblade or the new Storm Razor item, and then just ulting out. Or like using his ult to execute and then using his ult to get the heck out of dodge, which I think could be a bit of a problem. Okay, as Pike, you're a cutthroat who cripples and kills all who cross you, which is everyone you come across. Start by stalking your victims with a ghost water dive, lurking right at the edge of their vision. Resurface with a swift bone skewer to butcher multiple enemies at a point blank range. Hold the blade a little longer to harpoon just one foe instead, reeling them into your territory before getting them like a fish, or gutting them like a fish. Get even more aggressive by rushing foes with a phantom undertow, leaving opponents paralyzed with fear as the rest of your crew closes in. When you smell blood in the water, finish the job with death from below to clinch the kill, and cross multiple names off your list. Yet again, like as I was saying like earlier, I could see someone like being invisible, then using their Q to yank. There's like a lot of combos that he could do. He's definitely going to be a difficulty like 2 champion, such as he can use his W to turn invisible, then he can activate and hold his Q. Once that is done, he can still throw it. They have a chance of dodging it, but if he manages to land it, then he'll yank them forward, and then he can use his E right after that. He'll dash through them, allowing him to get an easy stun off on them, and then he can just like use his alt to execute you, because, you know, executions are fun. Playing with Pyke. Okay, they say death is the best crowd control. That's what I was talking about earlier. And Pyke makes a great argument. In lane, he's constantly angling for the all-in, using hooks and stuns to set up kills, while he can main focus from any spot in a fight. He's better suited to a flank than the front line, so expect him to make more picks than peels, and don't worry if he ends up doing lots of murdering himself. There's an extra gold for whoever assists in his vendetta. Yeah, that's what I think is a bit stupid. That's what I think, like, if you're gonna make this type of like assassin support, you need to like keep him the assassin. Like, if you just are going to power up everyone that's he gets across, I think it's a bit of a problem. Or you need to like take an entire ability to do this, like make his passive, even if he gets the kill, he only gets part of the gold or something like that, or he gets like full percentage of the gold and maybe a little bit extra if he gets the gold completely, or he gets the kill completely alone. Pyke likes to kill, but he needs help with his homicides. Injuring opponents by trading and poking is key before Pyke drags them under. Even when he catches an enemy alone, he'll need to take a couple stabs at his target. Enough time for their friends to intervene. His high mobility is also offset by low survivability. Pyke is easily punished if he dives deep for a kill he can't quite finish. The Ripper didn't get his name by playing passive, though, so be ready for violence at any moment. This I like, because that fits my playstyle pretty reasonably. That's why I said I'm going to buy him the second I can. Let the water drag you under. Tips and tricks. Bone Skewer Harpoon always pulls your catch the same distance, which means charging up and spearing an enemy right in front of you will fling them backwards into the jaws of your team. Oh. I didn't even think about that one. Like, I always thought it meant like the same distance to you. Like, it always will bring him directly in front of you type deal. So, like, don't pull someone that's right in front of you. But now I see that you can do that. Like, you can use that when they're right next to you and just fling them behind you. That is pretty nice. Man, his blade looks so cool. Take a second to slip out of sight after a skirmish and let Gift of the Drowned Ones recover a significant chunk of lost health. You don't have to leave the area entirely. Use Ghost Water Dive to circle enemies like a shark before going back in for the kill. I was right. His W, if you stay out of their line of vision, will heal you. So you can just, like, if you're getting into a bit of a skirmish, you can E away, use your W. Once you heal up enough, you can then throw your Q or just walk up next to them while like still trying to stay a bit of a distance, and then use your Q to just significantly slow them. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Once you've put enemies in lane underwater, don't hesitate to swim somewhere else and pick up kills across the map. Ghost Order Dive and Phantom Undertow double as mobility, letting you quickly siege from one crime scene to the next. Just make sure to signal your crew before diving into dangerous waters. I like that. He is definitely more of a roam champion. I think that something that people will probably take on him is like the water walking one, where walking in river will give like increased movement speed and damage. Actually, does that give increased movement speed? I think that might only give increased damage, so then you might not want to. There's plenty of room for everyone at the bottom of the sea. And then here's his base display. That is cool. And this one is definitely like Shurima based anyway. I don't know what they're gonna call it. I'm very curious, but I like the way it looks. I kind of wish that they kept his eyes blue instead of red though, because they kept his blade blue, which is why like if they turned his blade red, I would say okay, you fit the theme. But no, they made his eye red and his blade stayed blue. So like, if they made this, I wish that they kept his left eye blue, and then like the rest of him could have stayed red, and it still would have fit the theme perfectly. It still would have been fine, but no. Okay, so like as I was saying earlier, there are a few things that I'm thinking about Pyke. I think that he looks incredible. I think he's going to be good support, but there is something else that I like about him, such as I can see him being like a jungle or a mid laner. Like you can't say that a lot of other champions. Like a lot of the times, whenever they make a champion, they make him for this role type deal. But he is an assassin. Like his roles will probably be support and then assassin second. I can see him going jungle, maxing his Q, and then just like not using like the hook, but just using the little jab to to help him with camps. I can see him ganking, using his W, running up behind a group, and then using his E to like dash stun, using his Q to then yank the target back. I can see him being a full-on assassin jungle, building Dustblade, Stormrazor, and so on and so forth, and then like just as I said before, using his W to get in, using his E to stun you, and then auto-attacking you once and just chunking your HP, holding in his Q and flinging you into the rest of his team behind him, kind of like how a Singed will do, and then just finishing you off with his ult maybe, or just, like let's say you dodge his Q, then he dashes to you with his ult. Yeah, he doesn't get the execute, but he just got a giant gap closer between you, and now he can auto-attack you and dead. So, and I can also, as I said like before, seeing him as like a mid laner, kind of like how you see a Blitzcrank mid every now and then, very rare, but now and then. Yet again, maxing his Q, he'll probably roam a lot, using exactly what I said before, like the ganking technique of the WE with the Q. I can see him, as I said, like being mid, building full assassin, and just one-shotting people. And that's something that I really like about him, is that he's not, yes, he's a support, but he can actually go into other areas. Now, I still can't wait to play him. I will probably main this guy, not even gonna lie. I think that his ult's gonna be busted, but I will see, because, maybe they might throw a bow in there, and, like, the damage that you see in this, like, maybe this isn't all that accurate. But just look how much that hurts. That's literally a third of their HP. I think that's going to be too much damage. I don't like the flat execution. I get he's an assassin and all, but ooh. I think the damage of it, honestly, as I know I just said it's too much damage, but I think the damage of it, honestly, will be okay. As I said, he is an assassin. So I'm okay with it as it is. But I can also see people using this in really different manners, such as like using their ult just to gap close. Like even if it doesn't hit anyone, just to gap close, use their W to then they gain movement speed, and just like get up next to someone as they're building straight assassin and then just one-shotting people. And then like even if he plays, let's say this guy, he plays, as I was saying before, like jungle or mid, he can fight mid, lose some HP, use his W, or just walk into one of the side bushes, walk out of lane for a little bit, heal up, come back. Same with in jungle. He's like, in jungle, you're not in enemy vision. I don't really know if his passive will work. Like, Pyke is unseen. He rapidly regains some of the health recently lost to enemy champions. That's the problem there, though. His passive will be useless in the jungle, because he only regains health that he lost to enemy champions. Now, it's still possible to play him jungle, and I'm definitely going to do it. But I can definitely see, like, the only time his passive will be useful is when he does gank, and then they end up, like, hitting him, or they try to kill him. He could then just, like, use his W, run away, or flash into a bush or something, and then heal up a lot of the damage he just got dealt from trying to gank and have it being a failed gank. So I really like Pyke. I'm without a doubt gonna play him. I really like his whole design. Oh, like this looks really cool. Above all else, I love the blade. Like, if I ever get a chance to 3D print, like, if I ever get a 3D printer, which I don't have one, but if I ever do, I'm making that blade. Yeah, I know it's not going to be all glowy and cool looking, but I do not care. That just looks too awesome to pass up. And, yeah. And that is going to be the end of PYKE the Bloodharbor Ripper. I cannot wait to play him, and I'm definitely going to main him. So thank you all very much for watching this PYKE review / champion spotlight thingamabobber. And I'm going to be bidding you all adieu. Goodbye.